Hi traders and welcome in Trading Zone. Today I would like to start the second part of our journey, and this week we will start to focus our attention on NASDAQ 100. Let's first understand what is the NASDAQ in general, because there are a big misunderstood between NASDAQ and NASDAQ 100 that is normally what you typically trade. No, NASDAQ is practically a USA stock exchange that is based in New York. If you go in New York City, probably you will see in the full center of for me, one of the most beautiful city in the world, and is the second largest stock exchange in United States for market capitalization after the NYSE. This company was made in 1971, and it's one of the most important actually in the world for the type of company you will find inside the Nasdaq. This normally a company that want to be listed on the Nasdaq has to register to SEC. No, the Security and Exchange Commission has have at least three market makers and meet a minimum requirement that has to respect to be set by the exchange. The Nasdaq 100 is a part of NASDAQ, and it's an index that consists of the 100 largest non-financial company listed on NASDAQ Stock Exchange, and the weight of this the weight of this stock the index is determined by market capitalization, and possess a particular company that create a big interest and influence of index in the world. Actually, we have 102 shares. There are companies like Alphabet, for example, the famous Google, that has class A and class C, and the calculation is made by the market. The index is calculated with market capitalization. The value of the index is practically is calculated by multiply the each security last sale price with aggregate value of the index share weights of each of the index security, and after you divide by an index device. So in this sense, they are able to create an equilibrium inside the index. What is the difference effectively now between NASDAQ 100 Standard & Poor? Because of course this is a normal question that everyone could have, and of course they possess this index is possessed between the most famous and the largest companies of the world. But there are very interesting differences. Of course, NASDAQ has just 100 companies, Standard & Poor 500. One of the most important differences is that NASDAQ possess a foreign company, for example, the Chinese tech, that is very famous, or electric company like NEO or something like this. So you can have an idea that inside the index you will find a very interesting differences. Very the foreign company give a very interesting touch on these indexes. On the Standard & Poor, of course, you will find only USA firms. NASDAQ 100 exclude company from financial sector. Standard & Poor possess this company, and the difference is that of course Standard & Poor include all the USA company listed in other exchange. NASDAQ only the company listed in NASDAQ. To conclude, some key takeaways to remember. NASDAQ possess the 100, the largest company that are modified depend on market capitalization. They can eliminate, include to maintain always an equilibrium inside the indexes. The company you will find, which are the sector: basic material, consumer spending, consumer staple, healthcare, technology. This is the most important part: telecommunication, utility. And we can find company, of course, like Amazon, Tesla, Meta, Microsoft, Apple, but most of these companies now are moving on Standard & Poor. Actually, one of the most important is Meta, Nvidia, etc. I just include because this company grows so much that, for example, Tesla was, or Apple was moved on other indexes. Tesla, for example, was moved on Standard & Poor. Just to give you an example, I have to include because before this company was present in NASDAQ. And of course, you cannot directly invest in it, but you can use instruments like ETF, future, and of course, the CFD. Now let's go to see how news and market even could affect the volatility of Nasdaq that we can consider one of the most profitable in the world because in terms of average return, especially in the last 20 years, is incredible. So in this sense, it's for the type of company, but also for its type of volatility, also trader love Nasdaq. The factor that can affect the value of Nasdaq are different. For example, the trader sentiment. Why we have to mention something that, of course, is related with all indexes, simply because. For example, taking consideration what we are living in these weeks, no, the earnings season report, the tech sector offer a very good return in terms of earning reports and guidance. So the sentiment of trader is very at favor to continue to buy this company. And of course, the value of Nasdaq 100 continue to rise. So, for example, the sentiment of trader in this sense is in a positive way because due to the earning reports, very positive results. And when we have a change in negative, Nasdaq could suffer very strong sell-off. And in this sense, if you do an analysis of the movement respect, for example, Standard & Poor, Nasdaq, of course, could be very good in terms of return, but also when we have a correction, normally are minimum the double of Standard & Poor. To give you an example, last year, in 2023, the Standard & Poor do an incredible number that is not something come every year, but was around 25%. Nasdaq do 43%. But when we have a correction, for example, if Standard & Poor do 3-4% correction, the average percentage of Nasdaq 100 is 10%. So this is an element that you have to take in consideration when you trading. Of course, in terms of volatility, is fantastic, but also in terms of risk management, need particular attention. The second element, of course, is a political influence. Of course, a policy that could affect company stability or change some rule inside the market. For example, some rule against the monopoly or some law that not protect the USA tech company could create a change of return of this company, and of course, in this sense, could have a big drop inside inside the Nasdaq 100. Of course, also index will be hit by this. Also, the USA Treasury, of course, because normally you have to take in consideration that the long-term duration of this company are very big. So normally in a context where the market the cyclical part of market, that's more affected by when the economy is not going so good, investors tend to buy the large duration stock, in this case the stock of Nasdaq. But of course, in the historical moment we are living, the USA in this moment need to sell a lot of treasury, of course, and this problem could have a great pressure on Nasdaq 100, because if the USA government will not able to sell more USA Treasury, the value of interest rate going up, and the consequence, if investors start to sold the bond, also they will sold the stock market. And in a sense, the Nasdaq 100 is one or more hit in this case. And of course, the interest rate situation, we have also discussed this year. Everyone is waiting for interest rate cut from part of Federal Reserve. The Fed funds is around 5.25%, 5.50. And of course, if Federal Reserve continue to increase the interest rate hike or they don't cut, this is a problem because this company of NASDAQ 100 need a lot of fresh money flow, and if the cost to take this money will continue to rise, this company will not we will not able to take the same quantity of money like before, so they will suffer strong losses, and in consequence the value of this company inside the NASDAQ 100 will drop. This is the exactly contrary will happen in the moment the market we see the rate cut because the cost of money drop, and in this sense this company could be able to take more money to invest in their typical activity. So as you see, everything has a directly consequence, and the activity of Federal Reserve at last is always the most important. Now, how to trade the NASDAQ 100? As always, it's good idea to use CFD, but always remember that when we use CFD, we have to we have the ability, of course, to open short and long position, but also we using the leverage, we have to use a very strong risk management to avoid excess of losses and consequently not able to do a good increase of our trading account. And the X100 is the 8-cap CFD that we reduce in our journey here in Trading Zone. The trading hours are the same of Standard & Poor. The market, we use New York time zone like referral, 9:30 a.m. They open and close on 4 p.m. We have a pre-market from 4 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. and then after hour that was from 4 p.m. until 8 p.m. Normally in this part of the day we can assist some interesting movement that could be very useful to understand what could be the movement of the NASDAQ 100 during the spot session. The trade hours in 8-cap is UTC plus 2. It means 124 until Friday. We can also trade during the pre-market and overnight session. As for Standard & Poor, we will use technical analysis, resistance and support, volume, trend line. And now let's go to see some tips. It's practically, we have to add some very important detail because NASDAQ has the strongest concentration of algo machine. So in this sense, we can explain in part this big volatility. So, but probably because we have this present, the level of risk has to be maintained under control, and the strategy we have to apply is always try to maintain an average 1%. If we do scalping, 1% maximum loss of all trading account during for all the day. In this sense, probably the risk manager is important, and normally don't risk more of 2% of your account for any trade, but remember that at last you have to maintain normally this percentage that I tell before to avoid some problem. Always remember trade journal, register, or you can use an Excel or anyway use the MetaTrader to and see the reports to see which is your profit factor, drawdown, etc. to maintain an order in your trading journey, and of course permit your account to increase step by step without any excess of risk. So the trading journal permits you to understand which are your mistake and how to study. You can study this mistake and of course try to avoid to repeat next time. Now let's go to see the general situation of indexes. This is what we do last week with our account, and now we are going to see the general situation on NASDAQ. The trend is super bullish. I cannot say that something changed. Of course, it's super vertical from November 2022. The index going up around 68%, and it seems that there are no way for now to stop that. As I explained last week, this week we have an option expire on Friday, and we have to see if market could be able to continue this running. On Tuesday we have the important news of CPI data of USA, and depending on the news we can assist some take profit or eventually some stop at least for some weeks for this uptrend, because normally USA market tend to have some important retracement the second part of February. This is the cyclical reason. Of course, now as we are this super strong pressure on the Magnificent Seven, and there are no practically covering in the market, we need a very strong breakout of previous support to have a confirmation of that. And probably because market continued to go up, open and short until now was practically impossible in terms of course on multi-day position. In this moment, NASDAQ, you see break the previous high of 2021. Here we have the last line on 60,691 level. So in this sense, we have assist a very important push up. The idea is that the personal idea is that we can attack 20,000 level. The problem is to see if we can arrive now or not. So as we have reached the 80,000 level practically, now the question is to understand if market could establish a new accumulation process as we do last time or not. In terms of general movement, the last V-shaped recovery we have assist with this minimum establish the yearly support that is 40,000 level, and of course in general trend we have a series of low hike that not change absolutely the trend. So if we don't break one of these support, it's practically impossible to have a change of this movement. So for this week, 70,165 is the biggest support. And if I go in H4 chart also, we can understand that market in this moment is super bullish. Any drop is absorbed during the same session, and there are no way to change this situation. So for now, what we can do is to focus our attention on these two support, practically the level where we have a system market accumulation, and unless we break, we drop at least 200-300 pips in a session, in a session, forgot to see a drop in index that could going up another 500-600 pips. Everything depends from what will happen with CPI data on Tuesday. And to conclude, let's go to take a look also on the rest of instruments. We can take a look also on Dow Jones and Standard & Poor's just to have a view for this week. Dow Jones also running very good. We have assist a very important uptrend, and we have reached 39,000 level practically. Dow is tend more to do an intraday spike and fast drop. This week there are a chance to see some potential drop, even of course will be not so simple, but the idea to return around 38,238,000 level is not impossible. The key of this movement has to be controlled properly on 38,500 level. A breakout of this precarious support could create a possible drop. If market remain with this bullish pressure, of course, we have to expect the break 39,000 level, and essentially the journey until 40,000 level could be possible also in the next weeks. Market could establish an average support. Standard & Poor's also continue to go up. We will see all the level we have reached the 5,000 level. 5,056 could be the next target. We can also add 5,100 level, but before we have to see if Standard & Poor's will be able at least to do some faster retracement and maintain this 4,972, 987, the level we will see together last time, that established the support and give us a super buy signal that work very good. If market will not break this level, absolutely impossible to have a short opportunity. But about this, we will return on Wednesday. We will see after the CPI data what will happen, and we do another market update. Thank you very much for your attention. Have a great trading week, and see you soon on here on Trading Zone. Bye.